It says on my end, live on Facebook.
Does it?
Yep.
All right. There we go. All right. All right. So let's get started here, Wes. I think we are live. Cool. So Lance with Academy Kings, and I'm here with Wes Sharp. You want to give a quick bio, Wes, of what you got going on, what you do?
Yeah, I'm the owner of Fayetteville Fitness Kickboxing, and we do primarily just fitness kickboxing classes, and do about 30 classes a week actually, and yeah, but we mostly just do fitness challenges now. That's our primary. And, yeah, I fought for about 10 years, and but I'm 48. I don't need to be in cage fighting anymore. And but of course still do jiu-jitsu and grappling and all that, and but just enjoying running my business.
Nice. So, and you said you're in Fayetteville.
Yep.
What state?
Arkansas. Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Arkansas. Okay. Cool. So fighting, what kind of fighting were you doing?
I did MMA. I fought amateur for a long time, actually, just because I had a good career of it, and I was able to make good money just selling tickets and T-shirts and stuff. and I had a chance to. I fought for Legacy a couple times, and Mick Maynard was the owner of that at the time, and he just kind of talked me into going pro on one of his shows, and so I had a internationally televised fight on Access TV. Just got knocked out, but it was fun, and then I fought for World Series of Fighting and RFA a little bit. Just had a fun career of it. Didn't have a stellar pro career, but had a great amateur career. And and really just honestly, I just got into fighting because I was willing to lose weight. And I had some guys that they're like, "You should train with us. We do UFC." So I started to train with them. I lost over 50 pounds, and that just made me a believer that, man, anybody can do this without getting punched in the face. And that's primarily what we do now. We just do design classes, kind of like you're, cutting weight and training hard, and a lot of cardio and a lot of technique, and people love it.
Nice. So when you were fighting, I guess, is kickboxing kind of your thing versus jiu-jitsu, or what was kind of your specialty?
No, my specialty was jiu-jitsu. I did jiu-jitsu for 2 years straight before I even thought about an amateur fight. And I got to blue belt and was just, of course, you get to blue belt, you think you're a black belt. And but I started, everything was just take them down, choke them, take them down, armbar, and then I won an amateur title and started getting bigger televised amateur fights and stuff, Memphis and that sort of thing. And then I realized that I didn't have good hands. And so I started getting tagged, and we had to learn to do more than just come shooting in with your face forward. And so I started taking boxing and kickboxing more seriously. And I went through a couple boxing coaches, but then ended up with there's a guy named Kevin Lightburn that's just a really, really great boxing coach, and he has a pro named Calvin Henderson that'll be the champ one day. Those guys just really, really worked on to teach me how to get down on my legs and keep my hands up and all that. And then that's, of course, all we do is teach the same thing here. People that will never ever be in a fight, some of them, but they're still learning good technique. So.
Good technique, but being able to lose weight, give them some nutrition information, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, good self-defense.
Yeah. So kids and adults, or mostly adults, or?
Right now, all adults. Since the whole lockdown in March, we just of course, had to shut down the kids program altogether. We've been reopened though since May, and but we're doing just solely adult classes. But we're looking at putting mats down again and maybe doing kids jiu-jitsu. Just there's a lot of need for kids to be active, even though they're doing school at home and that sort of thing. And I'm seeing that there's a real market for that. And I just have a lot of requests. And I've honestly just kind of put it off because I've been so busy with adults. And now, like we were talking before, I need to scale down, and I need to just turn more things over. I don't need to be doing everything all the time. And so we need to just hire some more people and start teaching some kids classes probably too.
Nice. Are you doing everything, teaching most of the classes, doing the sales?
I'm still teaching about 3 classes a day, as early as some days 5:15 a.m. and then as late as 6 p.m. But not most of the classes anymore. I'm teaching a lot of classes, but that's something else that our goal is this month is to I need to scale back to about 1 class a day, different times a day, so everybody gets to see me through the week. But I don't need to be teaching so much. I need to be just doing sales primarily.
Nice. Yeah. We kind of talked about that a little bit before, about your skill set of like, you can sell a lot. So you can make a lot more money selling than you can teaching right now.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm a good teacher and I enjoy it, but
yeah,
it's just not the most productive use of my time.
Yeah. And like you said, if you're looking to scale or start to change your business at all, you need to be able to kind of fill some of those roles that are taking up some of your time that you can have someone do for a little bit less amount. And then you focus on kind of your strengths, which, obviously is sales. If you said you did, would kind of jump a little bit, but you said you did like 50 new members this month.
Yep. Yeah. Those weren't all challenges. Some were just, 12-month memberships, 3-month memberships, but mostly it was over 40 challenges. So,
and you're selling those at $4.99?
$4.99. We're about to change that this month, up to $5.99. I mean, the way we close it anyway, we give people, an option to pay it out if need be. And it doesn't, that extra 100 doesn't change that a lot.
Yeah.
So we're going to bump that up and just make some structural changes the way we do that. I didn't do it because I'd already sold half of the challenge. I was going to go up, but I just didn't feel at peace to
change the price midway.
One class to the other half. Yeah, so I thought, well, we'll just start the new one in August and do that. So
nice. So kind of let's backtrack a little bit. How long have you been in business?
Here at this gym, 3 years. 3 years
Okay.
This past January. Yeah.
And that gym started as a fitness kickboxing gym, or was it martial arts or?
Yeah, it was mostly fitness kickboxing. We did do a little bit of jiu-jitsu, but I was the primary jiu-jitsu instructor and primary kickboxing instructor, and I'm still only a purple belt. I'm just 1 stripe from brown, but we needed a better coach, and then we had a better coach in town, so we just ended up just closing down the jiu-jitsu program and just focusing primarily on fitness kickboxing. And the year after that's when we started doing these challenges, and so everything just kind of fit together.
Okay, and your jiu-jitsu wise, you're a GF team, right?
Yep.
Okay.
My professor is Mateus Magalhães. He's a world champion from Brazil, and then we have, of course, that's with Pimenta and of course Rolly and those guys. So
nice. And is that where you started at Rolly's, or were you somewhere else? Were you with?
I started Gracie Baja. Actually, that was my first jiu-jitsu classes was in Batesville, Arkansas. There was a guy that just married a local girl there, and he happened to be a GB black belt. He got his black belt from Carlos Gracie Jr. and just happened to live in Batesville. And so I started attending those classes, and I got the blue belt under that guy. And then he ended up passing away young, just a real freak heart thing. And so I just kind of bounced around a little bit. I was training under one of his black belts for a little bit, but that guy was on the other side of the state, so I really couldn't train over there very much. And it just made sense because I'm in business with Rolly to just go in under GFT. So
Nice. Okay. So as you kind of started the business, you said you kind of focused on fitness kickboxing. What was kind of your sales process, and what was kind of happening kind of like before you kind of joined up with us doing the program that we run?
Yeah, we were initially just doing free classes, first class free kind of a deal, and just blowing through the numbers on that, just trying to shake stuff loose and see what was stick. And so we were just doing a lot of that. I was trying to be out in the community as much as I could, just trying to get people to come in, take a free class, we were doing a little bit of ads on Facebook, but not a lot really. And mostly just trying to make a presence. I was constantly trying to go to, job fairs, anywhere there was people. I was just trying to be there all the time. Sometimes just going to the University of Arkansas and just walking around handing out, free class cards and stuff like that. We had all the little signs in the yards all around, trying to direct people to, and just stuff like that. Just try to generate, but it was mostly just free class. And then when they would come in, we would, obviously try to convert them to membership immediately. If you sign up today, we can put your first payment off, kind of deal. And just whatever it took to kind of close that. We didn't have a really strong closing ratio, but it was, we were selling a few memberships, but we weren't just killing it. And we were just kind of like this all the time. Just take a breath, take a breath. 1 month, we may just stay here. The next month, we may get a little breath. And we did that for, a year and a half, 2 years. So
nice. Okay. So at one point, Rolly kind of reached out and kind of got talking about the program, and then I think we got on the phone, and then basically from there, how did the program kind of help or change direction for kind of what you guys were doing once you guys kind of got set up with us?
Well, the timing was really good because I had gotten to a point. I was talking to some other gym owners, just kind of finding what they were doing, and they were saying, "Man, quit giving away free classes." And we had also converted at that point. We were doing 3 classes for $25, giving them gloves and wraps. So we were obviously taking a loss on that, which we went from free classes to taking a loss on classes.
It's kind of like
so
kickboxing.
Yeah, we upgraded. And anyway, and I was getting some, they were saying, well, that's obviously the I love kickboxing model, and that's not working for them. Why would you do that? So I started, one of the challenges I was having with that was we were charging $25 for classes, and that would get a $25 member's attention, if that makes sense, a $25 person's attention. So then, but then to convert them, and at the time, our 12 month was only $69 a month. So to convert them to $69 would blow their mind. Why would I pay $70 for something I just paid $25 for? Even though they were just paying for a week, they couldn't make that change.
Yeah, still putting a dollar amount to it.
I really struggled with that. And so finally what I started doing is I changed my approach, and I said, well, it's really $50 a class. It's $50 a class, or you can buy 10 classes for $375. You can take up to 6 months to use them, but if you do them all in 1 month, that was an expensive month. And or 12 months for $69. And I started slam dunking 12 months at $69 because it changed. And so it made sense to me. I was like, we need to change the way we value this. And so it was summertime, and we were a college town. So all the college kids freeze their accounts in May. And then, so we'll see a dip. And I was thinking, I don't want that dip. I need to figure out a way. So I started doing a summer special where you could train for June, July, and August for a one-time fee. And I think it was like $300 or something like that, just to start generating. So I sold a ton of those, and I thought, man, I could be doing better than this. I'm a good enough salesperson, and plus I was so exhausted. I knew I was worth it,
Yeah.
So it was that summer was the summer Rolly started talking to me about you guys. And so whenever I started learning about your system, I already knew I could do it because I'd just done it for the summer program.
Yeah.
And it just made more sense. And when I started thinking through the conversion process, I thought, man, that is just absolutely brilliant. And it just because I've had years of sales experience, it just made a lot of sense to me. I was like, man, this works. And I had a guy today, he has 1 week left in the challenge, and today he came up, he goes, man, I know I'm going to hit my goal. He said, I just want to stay. Can we just convert this to a membership? That was this morning at 8:30 class. So and that's just and everybody nearly does that. You'll lose some, and you'll have some people that still want the refund. You may never see them again, but that's a small percentage of your total. And then the people that go through it, man, they're so happy because they for the first time in their lives, they've learned about nutrition, and they're working out, they're having fun, they have a community, so.
Nice. Yeah. So, and just going back to kind of like what you thought about, like, you priced it at like 300. So basically what you did was you sales idea of that is like you gave a higher anchor point saying like, hey, this is the value now is like $300. You can get the discount. You can, or $500 is $50 a class. And then you're like, hey, you can have this for like, say 50%, 40% off. So you basically value that high anchor price, and then you give them that discount. And that's the same kind of idea as well, like the program that we do, our 6-week program is like we anchor that at that high rate, and then we kind of can sell them into our program at a lower rate, which makes them like, man, I just got all this value at this higher rate, and now I'm getting all this other stuff at a cheaper rate. Which for even us, our cheaper rate is like $59 a week or $49 a week once they do the stuff. So you were doing $69 memberships for like a month. Where are you at now price wise?
Now we have a tier, but $149, and then but then we also still have some 99s. So
you've basically like doubled about doubled your old price.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, and I haven't converted to a weekly price yet. I'm still kind of debating doing that. I really need somebody else I need to hire somebody else before I commit to do that, because I don't want the hassle of following it myself.
Yeah. So if you're new to this and viewer wise, if you haven't noticed, what we do is we actually sell our memberships on a weekly basis. So a couple of things that reasons that we do that, and this is for you also, Wes, and you probably have heard this through the different calls or whatever, but one, it's a lower price point. So if I tell you it's $200 a month versus $49 a week, it sounds a lot less for that $49. So you get those conversions that are on the fence at that $200 price point. You also get that 8% increase because like a normal month is 4 weeks, but really it's 4.3. So you get that added bonus on that. So it does increase those sales, and literally you can double your profit at the end of the year just on that one change typically. So cool. Where are you at now? So now you kind of figured out that acquisition deal. You kind of figured out like the new sales process, and now you're kind of looking more on like maybe like a scaling kind of idea or how you want to scale.
Yeah. So like this past month, we made a couple changes to our ads, and we had just so many. We had so many people interested in the challenge. I didn't have time to get them all in. There were some people we just missed because I was out of time. I didn't have enough time to follow up with it. People that were wishy-washy, I didn't have time for that, which is a nice position to be in. So I ended up selling over 40 challenges, and then also a lot of people that just wasn't sure, and wasn't sure they wanted to do the challenge, so they ended up just doing a membership instead. And so and that was through the end of the month. Yesterday was my first business day of this month, and I sold 6. So so that was a good day already. And so
it's like a $2,500 day.
yeah. So what I've done is I put myself in a position where I know my strengths. I know I'm good at explaining concepts and making and we're good at selling. And so what I did last month, I'm just going to focus on selling. What happened is, because I hadn't hired enough people to do everything else, I was staying up late at night, and I was while trying to eat lunch, work, and do all this, just not enjoying any time. And I still took a bunch of time off last month too, because I needed it. I just needed to get away, go to the river. And but now I'm in the position where if I don't hire more people, I'm gonna pull my hair out, because I'm so good at what I do now. I'm so busy that I need to, like you were saying, I need to push that away on. I don't have to teach every class. I don't have to follow every email. I don't have to answer every phone call. And then the better I get at it and at training, I don't have to do every sale.
Yep.
And there may never be anybody as good as I think I am, but at least I'm going to be able to duplicate myself and replicate that. And so now we're so busy here. So like with the lockdown, we can't put everybody. I have 30 bags. I can't put 30 people in a class right now. And so I've actually thought maybe a second location is what I need to do, not because I necessarily want to take on that expense, but I can outsell my capacity. I know I can. So, so I mean, it's a good place to be, you know, to think about that. I mean, what's the best way to grow at this point, you know?
So one thing for me is I would say before you did that, I would maximize the impact of the facility you have. So like go from 150 average person to like 200. So increase that, which again is going to lower your people, but now you're going to get people paying more money, which is less time and less people in the facility itself. So if you are in a position where you have a capacity issue, now you raise the price and now people are getting that like, hey, we usually have 15 or 30 person classes. We can only have 15 person. You're getting a lot more one-on-one time with the coach. You're getting that stuff. So that's one kind of thing you can think about is like, look at raising those prices for that 6-week program and then raise that back end. You're going to get a couple less people, but now you're going to get more people that are willing to spend more money on that business.
Yeah.
So now you just profit margin wise, now you just increase that profit margin. Cool. So let's go back a little bit. So you came in August, like you kind of changed some of those sales things, acquisition started going well through the winter. COVID hits. Like where are you at mentally? Where are you at business wise? What are you thinking going into that?
Okay. I am very cavalier about it. I know it's dangerous. I know some people get really, really sick, and I know some people are going to die, but most won't. And so I'm a little bit, I'm that guy. So I was very just cavalier about it. And I made whatever changes we need to make as far as cleaning and that sort of thing. But I was still just running classes until the state said gyms have to close. And so as soon as they did that, of course, we shut it down and we went immediately to online. I mean, you guys were already doing that. So we just transitioned right to that. And we kept most of our people because of that. And because the reality of the gym business is you have a lot of people that are going to pay for memberships and they're not going to come to class and they're not going to get online either. And, and so that's just the reality. And I think most of our people appreciated that we were still making the effort for them. We were still giving them, and I even did, I did Zooms that were sometimes just nutrition Zooms. Like, hey, let's just talk about what I ate today and here's why I ate it, and just stuff like that. And so we were doing that on a private member group, so the members could all get that information. And so we maintained a lot, but we did lose. We had a huge drop, but we were at the top. We had never done so great as we were doing in March when that happened. And so we were in the middle of a challenge that was full. I think we had 40 people in that challenge, and so we were in the third week when we had to close. We went ahead and finished that challenge online. I had a guy lose 27 pounds on that challenge, and half of it was online, So his goal was 20, but he had more free time. We had done so well that it was first quarter, so we could have paid out a dividend, but instead we just let's just sit on and see what happens here. And we just kept paying the bills. It wasn't just eating up our cash reserves too much. And I took a month off. I still taught classes and did that, but I wasn't selling. I wasn't working. I was going fishing and and just hanging out. And so even though we were open and I was still teaching online classes. I was doing Zooms and all that, but for the most part. Most of the day I was just kind of chilling. It was nice. And I knew, man, I'm going to have to get back on the horse at some point. And then after a month, they reopened us where we could do classes again, but we had to scale back and only do 10 people per class and that sort of thing. And so we just started doing that. We're still doing online classes every morning at 7:30. I'll set up my tripod and I'll do a class here. I'll lock the door. Nobody can come in because I don't want to be interrupted. And I'll do a just online class. It'll be live on Facebook on the group member page. That way, if they can't do it at 7:30, somebody maybe can do it at 11 o'clock or whatever at their convenience. And then And then so I took about a month to just start feeling it out. And then in May, I started selling challenges again. And we just did 10, the first one. Of course, we filled that in 2 weeks. And then that one is finishing right now. And then while that one was going, I thought, well, I'm just going to start selling the next one. And that's when we put over 40 people in that one. And that's the one that we're running right now. So anyway, but what happened was we didn't eat up our reserves too bad, just because we kept our expenses low, and cut back my trainers just a little bit, and just really watched my expenses. And then we still paid out a dividend second quarter, and so we're still making money, and after this quarter is going to be really, really good. I'm excited. Oh, and that's what I was going to say also. So I know you guys do Zen Planner, and you know how when you get on the main page, it has the graph and shows you if you're going up and down. So you can see where we were going up, March, and then it dropped down a little bit, April, May, and then June started coming back up. And now by the end of July, it's higher than it was in March.
Nice.
So I've already not only replaced what I lost, but now we are doing better than we've ever done, and we were doing better than we'd ever done in March. So
that's great. So if people are scared to advertise or scared to get out in front of people right now, like, you would definitely recommend, like, push the envelope, get your advertising going. People are willing to come in to train.
And I still have people that come in wearing a mask when they walk in. In Arkansas, it's mandated that you're supposed to in public, but if it's an athletic event or you're doing something athletic, you don't have to. So, and I tell them, say, you can take it off as soon as you get here if you want. It's no problem with me. Most of our people just walk in ready to go to class. They don't have a mask on. They just go straight to their bag. I don't say anything about that, but because they're already ready for class. We ask people not to get here more than 10 minutes early. We just can't do all the. And we also ask the second class to wait until the first class leaves and that sort of thing. We clean. Yeah. Everybody cleans their own bag after class. I just mop. We mop every day. It always smells good clean in here. We want people to just feel good about. We obviously clean all the door handles and everything, and just do our due diligence on that.
Sure.
But for most, what I'm finding is that, one, people are sick of being home. And are willing to risk it just to get out. And plus, what we don't hear enough about in the media is the importance of boosting your immune system. Don't want to get sick.
Yep.
Yeah, boost your immune system. So we have people that are taking their health more seriously than they ever have. So what an incredible time if you're in the gym business. People are worried about dying. Well, let's work on living, right? So
yeah. Bill Maher did a whole kind of skit or whatever he does, talking about most of the people that are having complications, dying, all of those things, or most of those people are obese, some other kind of health problem that they have. And, and his thing was like, why aren't we having a huge campaign on hey, let's lose weight right now. Let's try to be healthy. And whether that's online or whether that's in a gym, that should be a big promotion right now that CDC is getting behind, the government's getting behind, because it is so important to have that ability to have a better immune system, be healthy, lose weight, all of those things.
Yeah, right. But we're not hearing that. Yeah.
No, not at all. Cool. So basically going into COVID, you were crushing it. Obviously, took a little hit during that, but you pivoted, you made some changes. You weren't selling during that time, only really because you didn't need to. And then as soon as you were kind of feeling your groove again, you just jumped back into it and started crushing it again.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a good spot to be in, where you have the ability to turn it on or turn it off as needed. And I think we've seen in the martial arts and fitness industry in general that if you were hurting going into COVID, it either put you out of business or you're really, really struggling now, where if you had some kind of good systems before and you were putting that money away and you were doing smart things of business ideas, then you kind of were safe. Obviously, you had to make some changes, but now you can get back into making money again. So that's good.
What
I was
Go
just
ahead.
going to say, think about this, even before, a good month was 20 new memberships. That was a good month. And we were selling them at 69. So 1,400, was a good month. And like I just sold 50 and most of those were at $500. So just the reality of that is
Yeah, that's a huge difference. And that goes back to being able to, talk about doing the things that you're talking about, being able to scale. Like how many owners are cleaning the mats, cleaning the toilets, answering the phones, doing all the classes, all of those things, and trying to sell and trying to advertise. When you're doing those things without a good system behind it, then you run the risk of not being able to scale because you never have enough money to pay someone to clean the toilets, to pay someone to answer the phones, to pay someone to teach any of the classes. You're always just, like you said, like,
trying to get a breath.
yeah, exactly. And it's really hard without going into debt or doing something else to be able to scale or grow your business. And even if that scaling is not like, hey, I want to have 50 gyms, maybe it's only that, like, I want to be able to take, Thursday through Sunday off, and I want to teach Monday through Wednesday or be at the gym Monday through Wednesday. Scaling can be different things for different people. It doesn't always have to be about making more money. Sometimes it's more of a lifestyle kind of idea. And like you said, you like going to the river. I know you got a motorcycle. You like to ride the bike, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What else you got going on?
Well, obviously, jiu-jitsu. I'm a sponsored fighter by the American Grappling Federation, so I'm on their competition team. So I'm required to fight 3 or 4 times a year, compete 3 or 4 times a year. So I do that. In fact, I just competed in Tulsa, Oklahoma 3 weeks ago, maybe, and then I'll compete again in Oklahoma City in September. And so I've already competed 3 times this year. We were locked down for a quarter, so I enjoy that, and yeah, man. And then I've got kids, and so my boys are still. My daughter, she's grown and on her own, and then I've got an 18-year-old that's about to go to college, and then a 11-year-old, and so they still come in and help me in the gym some, and so just living life, enjoying that now. I do have some options, I have some freedom, and and like even the bike, I'd wanted a bike for a while, and I'm making enough money now. I was like, no, I'm just going to go buy a bike. So
Nice.
there you go. And so now, and it's summertime, and Arkansas is gorgeous this time of year, so just riding's nice. So I'm just enjoying my life, man. It's very, very good.
That's great. What would you say? Advice, like what advice would you give to anybody if they are struggling right now, or if they're doing okay but they want to kind of go to that next level? And it's not a plug for King, so don't feel like you have to say that.
Oh, sure.
What advice would you give a business owner that is in that position where you were, say, maybe struggling a little bit, or like you said, once you get to that next level, what would be some good advice for them?
Well, I'll say, just like with Rolly, we he has a gym that's pretty successful, but it's not my type of gym. They do a full martial arts. They're doing everything. They've got, 2 or 3 UFC fighters fighting out of their gym. And so it's a different animal. And I couldn't duplicate what he was doing. And so we were struggling to figure out how to do more. So we had to look to somebody who was doing more. And so I was talking to people, he was looking, and he says, and I can't remember who, I think Kevin maybe.
Kevin Lewis.
Yeah.
Kevin Lewis. I know Kevin from, my wife's from Grand Junction, where Kevin Lewis's gym is. And I always go there, do seminars, train with them and all that stuff. So he got in first with us.
Yeah. And he just had like a phenomenal month or something that just kind of blew Rolly's mind. And he's like, you need to see what this guy's doing. We need to look into this. And so we just kind of laid it down, said we need to do something, or we need to close, because we can't just keep this up. And so what I would encourage, if you're struggling, find somebody that's doing better than you're doing, and figure out what they're doing, and also you may have to pay for that, but what's the cost of doing it your way? It's eventually going to cost you everything, maybe. And so, so what's it worth to find out? Which, that's what that's what we started looking at. How can we find somebody that already knows more than we're doing. And I didn't get into business because I believed that I wouldn't be good at it. You know, I know that I'm good at sales. I love martial arts. I love teaching. You know, I love helping people hit goals and that sort of thing. So, you know, the reason you got into business is probably something similar. You believed in yourself, believed in your abilities, and so all you need is just, you know, the right mechanism, the right tool, you know, the right vehicle, if you will.
Yep.
And so that's what I said. Find that vehicle, you know, and then just believe in yourself. You believe in yourself that you can do whatever that person did. If somebody else did it, you can do it. You just have to learn how, you know. And I don't really change anything like you guys' system. I make it sound like me, obviously, you know, and I may just change a couple little words, make it sound like me, but I say almost word for word, you know, the stuff that we've done originally.
Yeah, and again, I think, you know, and you look at martial arts as a good example of that. And I always kind of say, like, you look at a blue belt, purple belt now, like you as a purple belt is probably me as a black belt, you know, 6-8 years ago, like the level wise. And it's because you have good instruction. Those instructors have figured out ways to teach things faster. If you were just watching videos or if you were just trying to figure it out on your own, you would probably be struggling as a purple belt. But you have a system to follow. You have instructors that have been there, done that, and then you can follow that thing, and it just gets speed to belt or speed to cash faster because you're not making the same mistakes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so that's what I would say is get with, you know, just like I said, I've got couple world champions that train out of our jiu-jitsu gym. And so I'm going to tournaments and wrecking people because I'm getting wrecked by world champions, you know. And so if you're in business with world champions.
Yeah. And, you know, like, you know, Rolly, a lot of us, you know, not to say that we didn't do things right, but a lot of us got lucky. Like, we've been here for 10, 11 years. Like, there wasn't, you know, black belts on every corner. There wasn't martial arts and fitness gyms everywhere and CrossFits. So, like, we got lucky at the beginning because we were kind of the only show in town. So we could make a lot of mistakes. And you know, me personally, like, we made a lot of mistakes growing the business to where it is. But then trying to figure out, like, okay, like, me getting mentors and me getting other programs and figuring out how to make it work for martial arts. Where a lot of, like, the people that have came up, like Rolly and us, and those guys were the only show in town for a long time. So they build that, and now they can keep rolling that just word of mouth. And now he's got UFC fighters, and he was a UFC fighter, and all of that stuff just builds on itself and helps. But for somebody that's just trying to open up a gym, like, it's not like it was before, where it's like, oh, I just open up, kind of hang my shingle, and everybody's going to come in because I'm the only jiu-jitsu guy around. Like, I've got 6 jiu-jitsu gyms, I think, within, you know, 4 or 5 miles of us. And again, if we weren't taking that next step every time, trying to figure out the next progression of whatever that a sale is, whatever that program is, people would be catching up to us.
Yeah.
I think, you know, a lot of people don't realize that. I think a lot of people come in like, oh, I'm so-and-so, all I have to do is open up a gym and people are going to come because I won worlds one time, or I did this or that, or I'm in this affiliation. And it's not that way anymore.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything struggling with now or anything like that?
No, just like we talked about, I need more people. You know, I need to hire more people and replace myself in some areas. I had a thought earlier and it already escaped me, but no, not really. I mean, I just need to scale myself back and just be more streamlined, I think. And I just need to hire people to help me run the thing. You know, I mean, I'm producing so much that if I don't hire somebody, it's gonna blow up on me because I just can't. There's only one me, you know.
Sure.
So I need to replace me with other people, so I just can get it all done. So otherwise, I'll end up selling less than I could because I'll be doing all this work that I shouldn't be doing. You know. So.
Yeah. Well, a couple things words of advice that I've gotten over the time on hiring, on training, and things like that is, one, if you want one person, like, say you're going to hire a salesperson, like, hire 2 or hire 3, and you basically want to do a good training, get them up to speed, but have them kind of compete. And you're going to find which one is going to be the better salesperson. If you hire one, you're going to get the work of one. You're going to not have anything to put that against. But if you hire 2 people, train them the same way, hire 3 people, train them the same way, give them the same amount of leads, and you see one is closing at 70, one is closing at 30, it's probably the person, not the system, or not the, not the program. And then obviously you've already done it, so you can put your numbers against them and say, look, like I'm selling at 80, like maybe you're not going to get 80, but you should be getting 60 or 50 or whatever that looks like. So always kind of hire more than you need and kind of go less from there. And then the other thing, which was a really good words of advice that I got about hiring trainers, especially if you have trainers now that are that you're trying to change systems or do things where like the trainers aren't on board 100%, is you want to start hiring trainers, teaching them those things. And then as those new trainers come in, they're willing to take the trash out at the end of the night, where the other trainers are seeing that and like, wait a second, like maybe I'm not irreplaceable. Because a lot of people get in that mindset of like, oh, Wes needs me, like he needs my, he's not going to be able to teach the classes without me. But as they see 2 or 3 new trainers coming in, now they're going to see like, and these guys are willing to take the trash out, and they're willing to clean the mats afterwards, and I'm not doing any of that. Like now that person starts to come down onto a level with everyone else, or they won't, and then you can start to replace that person.
Yeah.
So just a couple of things, and we'll obviously talk, anytime you need that. And then the last advice I would say for anybody that's looking to hire people is, just like we do for our ads and things like that, you don't want to be the guy that's like looking for a trainer, $8 an hour, blah, 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 blah. Like you want that to be an exciting kind of thing. Like, hey, are you willing to get in front of people and have fun? But, so you want to sell that trainer on why they want to be at your gym, and you're going to get a better person and a better person in that frame that you're looking for. So kind of those same sales tactics that we would use to get a client, you're going to use that to get a trainer. So just a couple of things I'd throw out there. Cool. If you are on here, just put any questions. If you do have any quick questions, how do you pay for salesperson? Do you have a salesperson now, Wes, or is it all you right now?
I'm the guy right now. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll answer that. We had a question on how do we pay. So typically for salesperson, what we're looking to do is hire them at a hourly rate. And that hourly rate is going to get them to do some lead nurture and things like that, reach outs, cold reach outs. And then we're going to give them a percentage of the sale, whether that's, 10%, 20%, depending on what you're doing and what that looks like. That's kind of typically how we do that. And then we have bonus structures on top of that. Hey, if you get 10 sales, you're going to get a bonus of $50 or whatever that bonus structure looks like that makes sense for your business model. But base salary, then get into commission, and then get onto a bonus structure on top of that. Ivan asked, how much did you spend on ads to get 50 students this month or last month?
It was probably close to $2,000.
$2,000?
So about around there.
About 2,000. That's. Do you know how many leads that was total?
I don't. No, but I do know this, that we have a pretty high show rate, not super high. I think we were talking about people around 15%. I think I was having around a 30% show rate.
Nice.
But my close rate is like 80%.
Nice.
So,
okay.
Man, if I have 10 people walking the door, 8 of them are doing my challenge.
Good.
So.
Yeah. So even just say if you were at 2,000 ad spend, you made, just say if it was 50 at the 500, that's $25,000 you made last month on a $2,000 ad spend. Like I'll trade that money any day of the week. And then, you have some fulfillment and things like that, things you're giving them, gloves or whatever. So even at top, you're spending $3,000 or $4,000 on your total ads, leads, nurture, all of that stuff. Like you're still making $22,000 in that month, which is, I'll take that. In the summer, like when's the last time you did 50 students in August?
Right. Exactly. And I think, well, and that was, July, but,
or July.
Yeah. Even then. And I think in June, we did something like 30 something in June. And, So, but I'll also say this now, when I was selling $69 memberships, and giving away free classes and stuff, you could not have convinced me to spend $2,000 on advertising. Like, where's that money going to come from? I mean, because that was my whole mentality. So to do it differently, you have to do it differently. And so, it's different when you're selling $500 memberships, and, so I just want to throw that out there that, I spend $2,000, but I'm not selling $69 memberships anymore either. I mean, you're valuable. Most of you guys that are owning business, you are black belts, or you are a kickboxing champion, or you whatever. I mean, you have a pedigree, and so you earn that money with your nose. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah. Literally.
Yeah. So just go out and get your money.
Nice. A couple more questions we had. How many people per class? He kind of already said that he can only have about 15 a class, right? Like half the bags you're using.
Yeah. We're keeping most of the classes to 13, but I'm about to go up 2 more people. I can either add another class, or I can just add a couple more spots per class. So but we're not even full all the time. And that was what I was going to ask you. So whenever people schedule their Zen Planner class, I'm keeping it 13, but I'm telling them, like, make sure that you take your name off if you're not coming. And they don't always take their name off, and so other people that wanted in the class don't get in.
So
should I start charging them for that spot?
Yes, or at least threatening it, right? So Orange Theory, that's like I don't know if you have them down there or not, but they're real popular kind of, basically it's a heart rate monitoring system that they designed for group fitness. And one of their models and one of their major revenue sources is class cancellations. So they have a cancellation policy. They have a fee for that. And if you don't do it, they charge you for that class. So again, we're big on accountability. And that is just, so accountability is like, hey, and mentoring is kind of like what we do on the martial arts side. So it's like touching base with them, making sure they understand the program, having an actual one-on-one coach that's calling them, texting them, doing those things. And that is another form of accountability. So it's like, hey, if you don't make it to class, like, you're going to pay a fee. And then you just train those people on that, meaning like you train those students. And if they get charged once, like, you can charge them and then they're going to complain and you can refund them, but you can say, hey, look, you get a one-time refund, but after that, you've got to cancel within 1 hour of the class. It's just not fair, especially during these time periods. And then you just slowly train those people into doing that. There's no easy way to train your current members to pay for something other than just doing it. We would do, we do the challenges, we do the fitness programs and stuff like that. And when we first started doing those 3 years ago, we would run an internal challenge, right? And it'd be like, hey, we're doing a buddy challenge, bring your friend, it's free for everybody. And then we were like, man, like, we should be charging these people. Like, we're putting a lot of time, a lot of energy into this. So then we're like, okay, we're going to start charging people. We're like, well, how do we do it? And we're like, I guess we just charge, like, just charge $150. And like the first one we did $150. And if you finish the program, you got like $75 back. You got half your money back. And like, everybody was cool. And then the next one we were like, okay, we'll just charge $150 and not give a refund. And then everybody was cool. So it was like, hey, just charge. Like, some people will some people won't do it, but the majority of the people and those are the people you want to be members anyways. You want to be able to have those value ladders and then be able to upcharge them to a different program or to a different product or whatever it is that you're trying to sell them on.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, I've been throwing it around. In fact, and I've had members I had a member today say, because we had, a full class and then only 10 people showed up, and I made a comment, I said, man, we're going to have to do something. And one of the members said, you need to start charging people when they don't show.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people get it. So.
Yeah. And especially in this environment that we're in, like, and that goes back to like, hey, if we're typically having a 30-person class and now we can have a 13-person class, like, you either have to, as a business owner, you either have to add 5-6 classes a day where now all of that expense is coming out of your pocket, or you need to increase pricing on new people or even old people, like going back to them saying like, hey, obviously we didn't know there was a pandemic. Like obviously this model has changed. We need to increase pricing. And that's one way, like if you were to switch to that weekly model, you're going to get a little bit of an increase. It's an easy way to sell that to them. And then now you've made a little bit of money. You can increase that value by giving them an extra class or two a day. And then it doesn't come out of your pocket. Cool. So I think that's all the questions. You got anything else for anybody, Wes?
No, man, I appreciate the opportunity just to talk. I like to talk, especially about myself. But no, man, I just want to tell you, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your system. I appreciate all the support. I know if I ever have a question, I'm just like a text away, man. And Jonathan is awesome, and he's just been a huge help. And so I just want you to know, man, how much I really do appreciate you. And I mean, we needed this, and this has been just the best system for it. And I'm constantly just trying to figure out, man, how can I get, so now I have to. I just have to hire more people so that I can do more of what's working. And so no, man, I just I'd encourage anybody that's just even thinking about it. It's worth it. I mean, my deal now, I sold so many memberships, I'm going to add at least one more class a day. So big deal. So I'll pay a trainer $20 to, so I was saying it's going to cost me an extra $300 to pay a trainer for the month, but I sold 50 memberships at $500, Big deal, right? Yeah, so.
Good problems to have, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So I'll just kind of finish up. Well, obviously, thank you, Wes, for coming in. If people want to get in touch with you or follow you or anything like that, do you have any handles or anything you want to throw out there?
Yeah. So the gym is Fayetteville Fitness Kickboxing. You can follow that on Facebook or Instagram, Fayetteville Kickboxing. And then just me personally, of course, if you want to add me on Facebook, that's great. Just Wes Sharp. But then my fighter page is the Punching Preacher. That was my fighter name. And then I think on Instagram is Real Punching Preacher, because there's some fake guy out there with
You gotta get the check mark.
Some preacher that's just like, bring him on, So, anyway, but yeah, just follow me and add me, and I'll add you. And if you have questions, just hit me up, man, and I'm open book.
Cool, man. I appreciate it. And then also, if you are watching this week and not a follow-up, a replay, we do have the webinar this Friday. It will be only on Zoom, so there will be no Facebook Live or anything, for the lead nurture system that we're putting out, the King's AI. Basically, if you need 30 or 50 new students, we will help you do that using that system. So jump on that call. Just put AI in the comments on Facebook, and we will go ahead and reach out and get you set up for that webinar. But like I said, it will be only on the webinar. There will be no Facebook Live for that. Thank you, Wes. And I think we will wrap it up, man. I appreciate it. And everybody watching Facebook land, if you watched live, put live. If you watched replay, put replay. And then if you need information on the AI, put AI. Thanks for everything. And then, cool. I will see you Thursday, Wes.
All right. See you, man.
Bye.
Good one.